What up, what up, what up, what up? It's your boy P. Skip. Welcome to the best half hour of your entire Tuesday. You know what time it is. It's time to get into his court. My squad with me, T-Mac.
Hola.
Chili Will.
Gracias, amigo.
Let's do this. So listen, 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 18 says, and we all with unveiled face, continually seeing as in a mirror the glory of the Lord, are progressively being transformed into his image from one degree of glory to even more glory, which comes from the Lord, who is the Spirit. And so what he's saying here, a brief synopsis of the scriptures, we should be constantly growing and getting better every day. And I was looking at this this thing on what ESPN, and it made me go, okay. It was talking about the Lakers and how with all the different changes they've made, they feel like the Lakers have not gotten any better than last year. And my thought was, with all the different changes and all the different movements, who do you think has upgraded? Who do you think has kind of stayed the same? Who do you think has actually gotten worse? You know, and we'll talk about the Lakers first, Will. Do you think they've upgraded? Do you think they're about the same, or do you think they've gotten worse?
I think they're better than they were last year. I think they better than they were last year as far as for the present. They worse than they were last year as far as for the future. So for right here and now, they're a better team than they were last year.
Where you at with that, Tim?
I agree. I mean, last year's team was, quite frankly, disappointing. I mean, coming off the championship year, I thought that they would show a bit more fight. When they got Anthony Davis, a couple seasons ago, I didn't think that he was going to be really enough long term for them to really kind of, make some sustained noise. But I thought that if they could kind of catch a break or two, and if everybody could play at the top of their game, they could, eke out a championship. And that's really what happened with the bubble. You had folks like Contavious Caldwell-Pope stepping up, playing the best he's played since he was with the Lakers, because I thought he was a wasted pickup for them up until the finals and playing in the bubble when they won the championship. Then you have folks like Caruso, who also stepped in. Then you had folks like Rondo, who really was showing flashes of his greatness when he was with the Boston Celtics. And so, but for those outstanding contributions, I don't know that they would have won a championship, when they did win a couple years ago or last year, not this past year with the Bucks, but last year, without those stellar performances by those supporting cast members, despite what AD and LeBron were doing throughout the year, throughout the bubble, and on up through the championship. That said, I think that the addition, again, of Russell Westbrook, I think helps give them a bit more depth and somebody else that can kind of take over a game. I mean, Russ isn't necessarily a great shooter, and sometimes I wish he would, not shoot outside jumpers or three-pointers, similar to Giannis, where you sometimes cringe on, hey, man, that's not your strength. Go to your strength, use your athleticism to overpower the defender. Stop making the bad choice of letting the defender off the hook. But I think that this time, I don't know that we'll see Russell Westbrook taking as many ill-advised shots, because I think his quality of teammates, being LeBron and AD, I think I've said before, I think it's the best set of teammates that he's ever had. And I think that we might see a more cerebral Russell Westbrook, because he has proven himself to be sturdy. His ability to average triple doubles over the past 3 or 4 seasons is something that's noteworthy, which means he's not a greedy guy, or else he wouldn't have double digits in assists. He will give up the rock. And so I think that with a little more tutelage and encouragement, hey, man, these are what your strengths are. You can help us best when you just rock your strengths and you minimize, your weaknesses. We don't necessarily need that. I also think that some of the veterans that they have, like a Trevor Ariza, and some other guys, I think are going to help shore them up when they have lulls where LeBron, AD, maybe even Russ need to sit down. Having those three gives them a bit more of a combination to have different combos and player arrangements on the floor. But I think the main thing that I was, impressed by them with was these added veterans. I don't think they'll be making the bonehead moves that younger players tended to make. And even if they just need them kind of to hold the line for 3 to 4 minute stretches throughout the season on up to the playoffs, I think they'll be able, to do that. I think another team, though, that has also improved themselves is the Miami Heat. I think Chicago really made some nice stealthy moves too, as far as who really improved this offseason thus far.
As far as the Lakers are concerned, to a certain extent, I agree with you. But I think those others are going to have to actually win 2 or 3 to 5 games on their own in order for the Lakers to really get their money's worth out of it. Because you're asking LeBron to give you 40, 45 minutes a game. You're asking AD always down to give you that kind of, AD can stub his toe getting out the shower and be done for the season. That's just the way he is, and so.
Hey, man, take it easy. Hey, take it easy, man. Take it easy.
Yeah. No, but I think go ahead, Pascal, go ahead.
But I think you're going to have those others win some games for you. Like, Melo hit some last minute shots. That's going to give, take some pressure off LeBron, take some pressure off of AD, take some off because Westbrook, LeBron, and AD, the way this team is set up, they're going to have to give you at least 40 minutes a game.
Yeah, I disagree with you there. I think that part of the reason why they stacked the team with so many veterans, not just picking 1 or 2, but got 3 or 4 or 5 of them: Dwight Howard and Melo and Trevor Ariza, and others. And you also got the other younger cats like the Kendrick Nunn guy that they stole from Miami.
Huge.
So I think that even with them not necessarily having to win games per se, if they can just give throughout the game 3 to 4 minute stretches where the drop off in productivity is not substantial, they can either maintain the lead or keep the lead from being, going up 7 or 5, down 3 or 4. If they can just hold the line while AD, Westbrook, and LeBron get breathers, I think that LeBron won't have to play 40 minutes. They can be solid with 32 to 35 minutes a game because these other veteran guys hold the line for them. So by the time they get to the playoffs, they're less gimpy, hopefully, as well as more rested because they weren't, doing greyhound racing the whole year, which is why I think what the calculation was. And if the young cats pan out like Nunn gives us what we've seen in Miami versus being Kyle Kuzma 2.0, I think they're going to be real nice. And that other young cat they got from Chicago, the Thornton cat, I think is a beast too. And if they can ride the wave of the tutelage and veteran savvy of a LeBron and really be sponges and really grow in this fertile land that they're in, the Lakers might be tough, man. They might be tough.
Well, the other thing too, you got to think about. We look at this and we think the Lakers are going to be playing Brooklyn and the Bucks and Golden State every night. It's 30 teams in the league. It's only about 10 teams that can even compete with the Lakers. I mean, this, in the conversation. Outside of those teams, I think that's when you'll see LeBron and Russell Westbrook and Trevor Ariza and, even AD, minutes drop considerably. So in those big games, of course, if they play in Brooklyn, they may play long minutes. But if they play in Sacramento or Cleveland, or they might be playing Washington, they're not going to need them for that amount of minutes in those games throughout the season. I think now when playoffs come around, that's different because most of the time in playoffs, you get a day off, so you get to get a little bit of rest. So I think the strategy is a good strategy for the long stretch for right now. I do think that they may have mortgaged part of their future with having all of these veteran players on the team.
I think that to me is why I believe there's such an urgency on the Lakers because of the moves they made.
Oh yes, I agree.
I think out of all the teams in the league, they have the most pressure on them because if they don't get a championship in 2022, it was a bad move for them.
Yeah, but
It
I
was a
say
bad.
Brooklyn. I say Brooklyn got a lot of pressure too.
Yeah,
Brooklyn
Yeah,
got a
but
lot of
I don't
pressure.
think
I think
Brooklyn has as
Brooklyn
much
has
as
the most pressure.
I would.
I don't think Brooklyn has nearly as much pressure as the Lakers because of what they gave up to do this. Brooklyn just was a bunch of cats just getting together, and they did the same thing. They pretty much gave up their future, thinking that we're putting all our chips in the middle of the floor, in the middle of the table now to win in the next, because everybody thought that they were going to win this year, and then next year, and the year after that. They thought at least they'd get 3 championships out of this group of guys. And I keep telling people, I'm like, y'all got to realize these guys are getting older. They're already on a downswing in their games and in their years of longevity. And I'm looking at this and I'm going, y'all thinking Brooklyn have 3? I'm thinking maybe Brooklyn has 2. I'm thinking maybe LA's got 2, maybe, and that's stretching it. But I don't think they got much more. As far as teams, do I think Miami got better? It's yet to see, because what made us think Miami was so good was the way them rookies was hitting. It was the way those Tyler Hansbrough was lights out. It was the way what's the other shooter that they
Duncan
got?
Robinson.
Duncan Robinson. Them cats was hitting like they had lost their mind. But then they came down to reality year 2. And they were no longer a surprise to anybody. They were no longer, catching anybody off guard. And teams schemed for them. And those schemes seemed to make them seem rather average. And so I don't know if Miami got that much better. Did they give some relief to Jimmy? Maybe.
Yeah, I think that they're my assessment of them being better was more so. I mean, the defensive teams, did come out and they, schemed on them. I thought that Miami was punch drunk. They went to the finals in the bubble, so they came out this year still sipping on champagne from the previous year, despite not winning. Okay, we lost to LeBron and the Lakers. Nothing to hang your head about. We lost to the King in basketball, anyway.
Right.
And so that's still cool. I think that the players, Tyler Hero in particular, became a celebrity doing photo shoots. I talked to guys at the gym that know him and did some AAU ball with him. He all in Turks and Caicos partying. So him not balling out was because, Joker, this is what being a big baller is all about. I think so. Now they got that out of their system. They were a little embarrassed last year, went out in the first round, underachieved.
Swept.
Swept, exactly, by the Bucks. And I think that Pat Riley and the organization, like, okay, y'all got the little party thing out of y'all system now. Y'all see that if you're going to be partying, you still got to play ball. I think the pickup of Kyle Lowry, another tough-nosed guy, will help reinforce that grown man attitude that Jimmy Butler brings to the squad, and all them little playing in games, patty cake stuff is going to be kicked to the curb, because Kyle Lowry's on his last, 2 seasons or so in the league too, knows that this is his last hurrah, means business. Come on, let's get it done. As far as the pressure, a little sidebar back to the previous conversation about the Lakers and the Nets, I think that the Nets have more pressure to win than the Lakers do, because as the Lakers have been bringing on people, many folks have said, oh, they're too old. The average age is 35. They have 7 players, this. So if the Lakers don't do it, they can say, I told you so. They was too old. We didn't really expect much anyway.
The Lakers already did it.
Yeah,
Brooklyn, they never did it.
Wait,
did it.
that was my next point, Will. One,
they
they're
did it
too
already.
old, and number 2, they don't have any pressure. They already got a championship.
They won
Everything
already.
they do now is going to be extra cheese,
Yes.
because they did the experiment. They brought LeBron over. They took AD, poached him from New Orleans, with all however people feel about that. They got the chip though, so now it's like, oh, bro, it's gravy from here on out. Whether we win another one or not, we can say, well, hey, when LeBron James came, he put up another banner in them rafters. And so they're playing kind of with house money, and they can just, run a full like they had Lincoln Park or something like that. And whoever got to play them, oh, y'all going to lose to us? I thought we was too old. Y'all going to lose to some old cats? Y'all going to lose to old school? Okay, then. So that's
And-
added pressure to their opponents. Go ahead, Will.
Well, I just want to say the Brooklyn thing. You got 3 guys. 1 guy has never won a championship. 2
Right.
guys have won championships. But let's be honest. KD ain't really won no championship before.
Right.
You can't give him credit for them championships in Golden State, man. Come on.
Right.
You can't
Despite
get-
him getting the MVP of both those championship
That
series,
don't got nothing
that
to
was
do
still
with it,
Steph.
man.
I agree with you wholeheartedly.
You was from the royal. You joined the royal family. You Prince William. Come on, man. You were supposed to have a crown on your head.
No. They
You know,
treat
you
him
born-
hey,
You born
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah,
But
looking like
the
Megan.
other thing is he hasn't led a team, his team. That was Steph Curry team.
Sure
He hasn't
was.
led his own team. Kyrie hasn't led his own team. The championship he got with LeBron. And James Harden, the knock on you is when the higher up you get, the deeper you get in the playoffs, the more your game becomes fragile and starts falling apart. It's a lot of pressure on these guys, and all of them done re-up with extensions. So the Nets are all in. They got to deliver, and they got to deliver fast. And if they don't win it this year, that's a bust. Plus, y'all know, like I know, they got some temperamental cats on these teams. These some sensitive dudes.
Mhm.
So they could implode at any point if Kyrie take more shots than he's supposed to, or if miss more games than he's supposed to, or James Harden decide to shoot when he was supposed to be passing. You know, it's a lot that can go on, and they don't have a Popovich or a Pat Riley or Jackson to be a veteran presence on the bench to actually deal with all that. So it's going to be interesting to see. And I think they're going to lose enough games in the East because the East has gotten better. The other thing we talked about Miami, I just want to add this. I thought that Goran
Dragic.
Yeah, I thought he was a big part of their success. And him not being on the team, to me is not, I mean, that's nothing small. That's a big thing.
I think there's 2 things that really made me go Miami didn't get better. And that was people don't realize how much Crowder was a major piece to that team.
Yes, he was.
And he's proven, he got another finals with Phoenix. So something about what Crowder brings to a team gets teams to the finals. And so, you know, I think Miami kept some of the wrong pieces and got rid of some of the wrong pieces. I really do think they should have. I would have rather got rid of Hero and kept Crowder than to get rid of Crowder and even kept that veteran guard unless Goran's contract was getting to the place where it's time for him to re-up and he wanted more money than they think he was worth. You know, I think it was a major downplay for them. What do you think? Hey, on another note, you know, looking at our NBA champion Milwaukee Bucks, they're looking at Lance Stevens to possibly come to Milwaukee. What do you think about that?
Trash.
Hell no. Hell no.
Hey, this is PG. Well, we pray to God on this show.
I'm sorry. No way. I mean, he's a joke.
Mm-hmm.
He's
No,
a
Will,
joke.
I mean, seriously, man. Will, I need this to be authentic. Tell us how you really feel.
Man, he's a joke. I mean, he's everything he gonna get out of the NBA, he already got.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the gimmick is up. I mean, if you're trying to replace a PJ Tucker with a tough guy, this dude ain't tough. He's like
the guy from Boston.
He's a clown.
The guy from Boston is the perfect replacement for PJ Tucker. Perfect, because he can shoot.
Ojeley.
Yeah, Ojale.
Yeah, same thing.
Whatever his name is, but he can shoot. He plays great defense. He's a good size, but he can shoot the basketball. A lot of times this year, the Bucks was playing 4-on-5. You know, and then we also got to think about, you know, DiVincenzo is coming back next year, and he averaged double figures and, you know, six rebounds a game, and he was a tough defender. So the Bucks, I think the Bucks under the radar have gotten better. I would like for us to bring back the center from Wisconsin. What's his name? The Tank. I would like to see us get
Frank Kaminsky.
Bring back the Tank to back up Lopez. And I think if we did that, that's all we need. I think everybody they would have to deal with us. Because I believe that Middleton is going to work on his handle. I believe that Giannis is going to work on his threes and his jump shot. And I think just by them getting better individually alone, and you already know Holiday's confidence is going to be sky high coming off a gold medal, NBA championship. As soon as he got to the Olympics, he started. So you know his confidence is going to be out the roof. I think the Bucks are in a good position.
Yeah, you know, I do think they're in a good position. I think I was pleasantly surprised with the pieces they picked up.
Yes.
To match the culture of who the Bucks are.
Yes.
You know, sometimes you can get a good player that don't match your culture, and he turns out to be a bad player within your system.
Yes.
And I think the pieces that they got fit well with the system that they have in place. I'm just wondering what system they're going to play next year. You know, because that's still up for grabs. Are they going to be playoff Bucks, or are they going to go back to regular season Bucks? You know, and if they stay with playoff Bucks, then I think this team and this culture, I think, could repeat. But if they play, you know, regular season Bucks, whatever that was, I think it's going to be difficult for them to get. But it seems like the Bucks play better hunting versus being the hunted, though. You know, because they were the hunted the previous 2 years, and they didn't do well. But because they were the hunters, it seems like that was the position that they liked. Yeah. That they weren't the ones, you know, but they're in that again because you got the title. You're the hunted again. But I just want to see how they're going to respond to being the hunted again.
I think that premise is sound, that, you know, the 2 years they were the number one seed, being the hunted, folks was really going deer hunting, and They got some venison. And last year the Bucks were able to get the championship. I think the difference, what can help temper that, is that the Bucks really earned that championship. They went through the process of knowing what it takes to overcome adversity, to continue to win. With one of your starters, you know, getting hurt late in the season, you still able to pull it off. That was really, really humongous. The other piece is that the release valve on a pressure cooker is that they actually won the championship. So now with them being the hunted, it's almost like, well, bring it, Joker. I ain't even scared no more. Whether you got on a camouflage coat, whether you got a laser scope, whether you coming with an AK-47, we're ready for battle. We're battle tested, and more so than being battle tested, we were able to win. So our confidence in ourselves, and hey man, we can actually rise to the occasion and win something. I think them jokers went from boys to men right before our eyes. And anybody they got to deal with them got to deal with some grown men now, who now that they've raised that standard, it's going to be hard for them to come off that standard anymore. And so I think within themselves, if they get on, let's say, a 3 or 4 game losing streak because they are still, you know, punch drunk with some of the champagne that they still are winning, I think they have the intestinal fortitude to come together as a team and say, hold on, man, we're the champs. Why are we playing like some chumps? Let's get back to championship basketball and run this thing back and bring it on back to the crib. Make these other teams beat us if they want to poach the championship from us, as opposed to us conceding it because we were underachieving.
Yeah, you know,
it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
Let me ask this question. Who do you think would be better in the lineup to start, DiVincenzo or Drew Holiday?
Drew Holiday.
As far as what? Drew Holiday started third. And DiVincenzo going to start too. Both of them going to start.
So what are you going to bring, Chris off the bench?
Chris going to start too.
At small forward.
Yeah.
Okay.
DiVincenzo just taking PJ Tucker's place.
Okay.
Yeah.
So who's going to run the point then? Is he going to go to the 2?
He's going
to go
to
Holiday going to run the point.
Yeah. Drew Holiday going to run the point. He's going to go to the 2. Chris going to go to the 3.
Okay.
Giannis gonna be at the 4 and Lopez gonna be at the 5.
I was wondering, because, that could be, the whole time DiVincenzo on the sideline talking about he got my job. That should have been my championship, even though he got a ring,
He helped us get there. He was major this year in the Bucks team. I mean, in scouting reports, strategies, he was major. It was a fluke accident that he got hurt. But prior to him getting hurt, he was becoming very consistent. Very consistent. He was giving us that 10 a night. Sometimes he would give us more. He was I think the thing that probably helped him the most by not being there was sitting out watching. That he can figure out how to stay out of foul trouble, because that was one of his issues last year, foul trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. I also think he also got to see a veteran point guard do what he does.
Yes,
exactly.
And some things are taught and some things are caught. I think he caught a glimpse of who and what the Bucks need to win. And I think in that, it caused him to see this is what it looks like to make this team win. And so whether you're the 1 or 2, this is what we need. And I think also one of the huge factors for us last year winning the championship, or this year, I think it was Pat Connaughton. Quiet as it's kept.
Yeah.
Pat Connaughton hit some key threes.
Yeah. If the role players played their role, Pat Connaughton, Bobby Portis giving us big games, 20-point games, 16-point game. I mean, everybody that was supposed to contributed. And on the Dante DiVincenzo tip, hey man, we shot you, a life raft when you were underachieving your first couple years in the league, gave you one more chance. To Will's point, before your injury, you were playing well, you were playing consistent. We appreciate that, but don't get it twisted, Joker. We won this championship without you being on the floor. So if you come in being a cancer to the team or not living up to the promise that you displayed as we were making our, march to the playoffs, you can be sat down too. So this is still kind of a cheater-proof type of deal with you as well. As you can see, anybody that hits this floor to make and stay in the rotation got to be productive. Now, we'll give you a shot. We ain't just going to kick you to the curb because of the unfortunate injury or whatever. But know that you only going to be playing so long as you are productive. And if your productivity drops off for whatever reason, your leash might be kind of short, bro, because this is the championship Bucks, not the number 1 seed that gets unceremoniously bounced out of the playoffs prematurely.
And
it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting.
And to say this, and you could drop down the 3rd guard.
Facts.
Quickly, because Hill's coming off the bench.
Correct.
And Rodney Hood. Rodney Hood is
right, and Hood.
Yeah.
And Hood. So you could go from a starter to no clock, real quickly, so.
Or he's in the gym right now working on his game to make sure that doesn't happen. And with those, when they get better
So listen, another great show, fellas. We'll be here next week, same bat time, same bat channel, right here, Joy 1340 AM, 98.7 FM every Tuesday from 7 to 7:30. The number 1 faith-based sports talk show in the entire world, Into His Courts. And listen, fellas, if you listen to me, I got an amazing men's conference coming up right here in the city of Milwaukee, September 17th and 18th, which is a Friday and a Saturday at the Miller High Life Theater, Into His Courts. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Chris Broussard is going to be with us. Todd Delaney is going to be with us, along with comedian Michael Jr. is going to be with us. And most of all, you're going to be with us. So go sign up at www.worldoutreachbtc.org. Again, that's www.worldoutreachbtc.org. Register. It's going to be life-changing. Until next week, have an amazing week. Hey.